In this video, we're going to look at the recording methods that you go about when you are collecting evidence at a crime scene. Photography, sketches, and notes are the three methods for crime scene recording. Ideally, all three should be employed. However, as it is often the case, personnel and monetary limitations may prohibit the utilization of photography at every crime scene. Note-taking begins when the investigator is contacted and required to report to the crime scene. The crime scene note should begin with the identity of a person who contacted the investigator, the time of contact and arrival at the crime scene, preliminary case information, personnel present on arrival and those being contacted. Notes contain a personal log, all observations made by the investigator, and the time observations were made. Notes are taken in a uniform layout concurrently as the observations are made. So we would probably use more of an outline method of note-taking. Notes are written in a bound notebook in blue or black ink. Digital photography is made when a light-sensitive microchip captures light on each of a million of tiny picture elements called pixels. The light is recorded on each pixel as a specific electronic charge that is read by the camera as image information, which is then stored as a file on a memory card. The number of pixels is directly related to the resolution of the picture. Photographs with more pixels show increasingly good resolution or more detail and sharpness in photographs. The number of pixels that a camera features is usually measured in millions of pixels or megapixels. Advantages of digital crime scene photography include the following. The ability to observe images immediately after taking them ensures important photographs are clear and show the best possible detail. The resolution available can exceed 12 megapixels, while the maximum resolution offered by a film SLR camera is equivalent to about 5 megapixels. Computer programs can stitch digital crime scene images together to create a 3D view of the crime scene. Crime scene photographs should record the area in which the crime actually took place and all and adjacent areas where important acts occurred. The most important prerequisite for photographing a crime scene is for it to be in unaltered conditions, in other words, not contaminated. Each crime scene should be photographed as completely as possible in a logical succession. The sequence will show the overall scene first, then work down to individual pieces of evidence that jurors in the trial can easily relate back to the larger scene. The 4 minimum photographs required at a crime scene are an overview photograph, a medium range photograph, a close-up photograph, and a close-up photograph with a scale. Overview photographs of the entire scene and surrounding area, including points of exit and entry, are taken first, taken from the outside borders of the scene and from various angles. If the crime scene includes a body, photographs must show the body's position and location relative to the entire scene. Include a visual tag, an object recorded in multiple overview photographs to help visually piece the scene together. And you can see here in these examples, you would have the overall photograph. Here you would have some cone markers or visual tags. Here's a ruler that they put in there to give you size and scale on that. So those are just some quick examples of what some crime scene photographs would look like. Medium range photographs show the layout of smaller significant areas of the crime scene, taken with evidence markers in place, as you saw in the previous pictures, to show the spatial relationships among pieces of evidence in greater detail than the overall photographs. Include at least one photograph of the center of the scene. They should also In violent crimes, this usually includes the site where the victim was found and the surrounding area. Close-up photographs are taken last and show greater detail of individual objects or evidence. They're taken at 90-degree angles to the object, with and without evidence markers and scales. Scales should be placed as close to the evidence as possible without affecting it in any way. After the 90-degree photographs have been taken, photographs from other angles may be taken. The most important close-up photographs are those depicting injuries and weapons lying near a body. After the body is removed from the scene, the surface beneath the body should be photographed. Videotaping crimes. As with still crime scene photography, the crime scene video must include overview, medium range, and close-up images. A narrated crime scene video combines photography and notes. However, it is important that only one person narrates and no side conversations are captured on the video. Some video cameras can produce still photographs, but the quality is often poor. Therefore, still photographs from a digital camera are still required. Surveying the crime scene. The walkthrough initial survey of the crime scene is 1. The perpetrator's point of entry and exit are located. 2. Indirect path is taken to the center of the crime scene. 3. Obvious items of evidence are located and documented. 4. The conditions of the scene are observed and recorded. Special attention is paid to item and condition that suggest timing of the incident and do not appear to belong. Searching the crime scene. Line strip search pattern. 1 or 2 investigators start at the boundary of the crime scene and search in straight lines across to the other side of the crime scene. A grid search pattern would be 2 or more investigators form a grid by searching in line patterns that overlap and are perpendicular to each other. A spiral search pattern is where one investigator searches in a spiral path from the center of the crime scene to the boundary outward, or from the boundary of the crime scene to the center inward. The wheel ray search pattern would be several investigators search in straight lines from the center of the boundary outward, or from the boundary to the center inward. A quadrant zone search pattern would be where the crime scene is divided into smaller sections, zones. 1 or more investigators are assigned to search each zone. And in this illustration, you can see the different patterns here. We have a strip line search, the grid search, spiral, the wheel, where you start in the middle and work your way out like the spokes of a wheel, versus a quadrant, kind of like a graph in math search pattern. Vehicle searches. Investigators search the interior and the exterior of the vehicle. The vehicle may be searched at the crime scene or at the police department crime laboratory garage. Sketching the crime scene. Crime scene sketches should clearly show the layout of a crime scene, illustrate the relationship in space of all significant items and features, clarify objects and features already described in notes or shown in photographs, show measurements over long distances and topography of outdoor scenes, depict possible paths of entry, exit, and movement through the scene. The rough crime scene sketch is created at the crime scene and contains an accurate depiction of the dimensions of the crime scene and shows the location of all pertinent objects and features. All rough sketches should include title block with information on the case, crime scene, and persons creating the sketch, a legend with identity and dimensions of objects in the sketch, compass showing the north direction, body containing the sketch itself, Points of reference for objects can be shown by the distance measurements from two fixed points. So here would be an example of a crime scene sketch. It's a rough sketch. You can see they've noted specifics within the sketch. They have a key where things are labeled A, B, C, D. The victim is labeled at C, so I'm not sure a victim would be found over here, etc. The finished crime scene sketch. The finished sketch is created from the information in the rough sketch, but it is drawn to scale with care and concern for appearance. The current standard method utilizes computer-aided drafting, which is referred to as the CAD, to create the finished sketch. CAD programs also allow for the creation of three-dimensional finished sketches. So this would be a CAD drawing. Again, here's more detail. It's to scale. You can see where the body was found in this crime scene in relationship to all of the other objects that are found within the room. So this is just the recording process of gathering evidence found at a crime scene.